16 beds on the island. We've got 8 cabins downstairs where we live here, and so if you get any workers coming out, weather permitting, and all the material comes out and all that stuff. Puffins, you got to see the puffins today, so you're lucky enough. The chicks are about 3 weeks old now, since the adults are going back to the fish and they're being set for the baby. They nest, they live under the ground in those holes. They come back in the middle of April and they meet their partner from the year before, and they go back to the same hole every year. They imprint on the hole. They live to up to 30 years old. They're quite a long-lived bird, you know. The female lays 1 egg every year under the ground. It's a very large egg. It's bigger than her head, so you're looking at that puffin. It's a very, very large commitment for the bird. And they both take turns sitting on the egg for about 6 weeks until it hatches. When the baby comes out, it's a little fluffy thing about the size of a golf ball, very cute. One adult will stay with it to keep it warm for the first 10 days or so. It's not fat enough to stay warm, but the other adult will be bringing back the fish. And then at 10 days old, then it's about the size of an apple, big fat round thing, and it can stay warm, and then both adults bring back the fish. So now you're seeing that happening.
But does the chick stay underground?
Yes, stays under the ground until it's 6 weeks old. And then when 6 weeks old, then it's the same size as the adult, but they don't look like the adults. Their face is grey, they have a little black beak, their feet are grey, and they have a little white patch on their belly. They haven't got the colours that the adult has. But at night time it'll flutter down to the sea, and once it hits the water, then it's fairly safe. They use their wings like penguins underwater. They fly underwater. So the first 4 years of their life, they're floating out in the ocean. They learn to fly on their own. Their parents let them go. They never meet their parents again, no doubt. And at 4 years old, then they grow that colourful beak, and their feet turn orange, and they put that face mask on, the clown mask. And somewhere around the North Atlantic Rim, from Newfoundland, Greenland, Iceland, around this side as far south as Galicia, they meet a partner, dig a bore on the imprint with that partner on the bore then for life.
But the chicks from here don't imprint necessarily here. No. They could end. Some of them could end up
absolutely,
here.
Absolutely, but statistically not really, because the ocean's huge, you know, and you know, we've got 10,000 here. Like in Iceland, they harvest 1 million a year. They eat them. Like I've eaten them. You know, we're not supposed to kill them in Ireland; they're protected. But in Iceland, they harvest them. In the Faroe Islands as well. So it's probably.
So this is a small.
This is a drop in the ocean. There's probably 50 million puffins out there. They're not endangered or anything like that. But the first 4 years they're floating out there. They don't know exactly where they go. We know where the adults go. We did some experiments. Actually, the professor, what's his name again, Mark Jessup, he's from UCC. He's here today with these research students. They put tags on 20 of the puffins. They marked the bore and they put these electronic tags. And there was a little camera, a little power source, and a memory chip. And they captured 7 of them last night. They're trying to get the rest of the other 13. And from the information from the little bracelet that the puffin holds, they can figure out where they go. And it registers when they're in the air, when they're on the surface, when they're underwater, and the time and the date of sunrise and sunset. And they can triangulate then where the bird goes. They found out when they left here in August, it took them 6 weeks to fly across the Atlantic. They spent about a month and a half off the coast of Canada. And then in November, they came back to the centre of the Atlantic for the rest of the winter before coming back here. One of the puffins was found to have cheated and spent the whole winter off the south coast of Italy, which is just over there. It's a lot better than
Continue with top flies.
Yeah. But then they suggested that maybe a small percentage of our population that nest here, they overwinter like in north, in Morocco and the Canaries and into the Med there. So that could be possible as well. But the tags they're getting today, they were put on 2 years ago because they couldn't come back here last year because of some restrictions, COVID or some shit. And anyway, so they're going to have hopefully two years of information on the bracelet that they've got. So hopefully we'll get that information before they leave on Monday.
And they only got them because they knew what burrow they had come from. Because they
marked the board, they stick the hand in, grab the adult, put the ring on, put him back in.
That's why you see some.
And he came back 2 years later, he's in the same place.
Yeah. They got 7 of them back last night. Now they hopefully get some more of the 13 that's still out there. No doubt some of them will fall off, some of them would have died. I think the tags were over €1,000 each. It was a little block of resin, very, very light because the puffin's only small. There's only a couple of grams each one of the tags, but it's very high tech stuff. Wow. That's it. Walk around the place, please watch your head on the doors and stuff like that. Now it will be a little bit slippery, but it is trying to dry out. Be very careful.